Welcome. Happy to have you here, Keith. You're the best. And anybody else who trickles in, whenever you trickle in, if you trickle in, or if you just wait for it to be on the channel, that's cool too. It is what it is. Welcome, everybody. I don't even know what to call it. I'm just going to say solo casting. Like I said, transition or future or whatever is a little weird and up in the air at the moment, but it's all good. We'll figure it out. And the show will go on, or it won't. We'll see. But bitch, guess what will be here? So if you're watching from Sideframe Chronicles channel, make sure you click and go to bitch guess what and subscribe there. And if you haven't liked the video already, make sure you do so. Thank you. So, God, I feel like it's been a couple of weeks since I podcasted. And I feel like before I hopped on Instagram Live, I really knew what I wanted to talk about. And now it's kind of like, oh, what was it? I kind of forgot. But here I am. I felt like podcasting. So sorry for the late notice. I'm kind of a go with the flow, spontaneous kind of person anyways. So here we are. We'll get through it. First things first. How many of you guys, your kids have started school and now you're a chauffeur full time? You don't have a life. Holler at your girl. Same. Second, so shout out to all you parents. Hassam, hi, how are you? It's been a while. And we will get through this. You know, we just got 9 months to go. So, keep it up. Keep up the awesome parenting. I wanted to kind of, the reason I bring that up is because I do have a daughter who is 15, a beautiful 15-year-old girl who is a sophomore in high school currently. And you guys know how not too long ago, maybe 6 months ago, I was talking about moving, right? Leaving the state of California. Rent is crazy, cost of living is crazy, right? And then I had been tracking housing and all of that since probably December, November, December, because I knew my lease was going to be up in March. And it's something that I do a couple of months in advance. I always look around, see what it looks like, what the market looks like. Just check it out, check things out, right? And I look all over the country. I'm never just looking in my area. Hi, Eddie. How are you? Thank you for joining. So I don't just stick to my area. I look all over the country. And what was crazy to me, America is as crazy as it seems, Hassam. Don't come here. It's ghetto. It's really bad. Yeah, I was looking at Oklahoma, because their cost of living in December was really appealing to me. I was like, I can afford a 4-bedroom house by myself. That's great. That's what I need, California, not even a fucking shed. I can't even afford a shed by myself here. So it was something I was looking at, and it was crazy to see it jump the way that it did. So in February, I would see 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom houses in smaller towns, but bigger cities for those states, like Oklahoma City. I looked in New Mexico. I looked in Utah. I looked in fucking Kentucky, Ohio. I looked everywhere, bro. And it was crazy to see how rent in even those places would go from $1,200 for a 4-bedroom house to now over $2,000, $2,600. I am not about to pay $2,600 to live in a place that's a California price for not California, not doing it. So, But the other piece, I digress. I say all this because I was talking about my daughter who's 15. And I remember being 15 and I'm, born and raised in Southern California. But I remember being 15 and my mom moving us to Eugene, Oregon. I actually got there, I think, on my 15th birthday. And at that time, at that high school, there was only like 5 other Mexicans there and 1 Black student. And so I went from being white girl in Southern California because I am fair complected and I have light hair to being brown girl in Oregon where it's just a bunch of white people, right? And that wasn't a good experience for me. I wasn't met with open arms. Like that really, really changed the whole trajectory of my life because I went from being like this straight A student, this like athlete. I had school records, like I was a good girl. I had a good life, right? At that point, I did. Not like earlier childhood, but at that point, they were finally getting it together, and I was doing well, is what I know. And moving me from one state to another at that age changed it all, right? You can't find people like I couldn't in my new school that accepted me, that I fit in with, and it turned out that the people that I ended up clicking with were all the people who had to leave California because they were in trouble, right? So those people would come to the school and then that's the group I find. And then that's where I start fucking around and fucking up, right? Hi, Agnetha. Hi, guys. If you guys haven't yet, make sure that you guys go to my Bitch Guess What channel and subscribe there and make sure you like the video. Just so that you're supporting me regardless of the future of Side Friend Chronicles. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I say all that because my daughter's 15 and she's in a good place. And it was, I think, around spring break where she had like a picnic. Like when I was 15, me and my friends were not like, hey, let's go have a picnic in the park, potluck style. Everybody bring something, spend the day doing innocent activities, right? Like that was not who I was as a 15-year-old. I was like that as a 14-year-old probably, but I was still a little, like I was a goody, but I had like hood friends. So there were hood tendencies in there. But my daughter is not like that. Super dork, super nerd, good student, good kid. She's in sports. She's those things. And I saw like her pictures from this picnic, right? Like with her group of friends, who is so much more diverse than her group of friends that she had when we lived in Oregon. Like a bunch of her friends in Oregon were a bunch of like emo white kids, like so confused with life and who they are, and they're bored, so they're like trying to do all the things that are trendy. Like, I don't know, it's just not a good group for her. And they were like depressed, right? And that's not who my daughter is. My daughter's light. She's love. She's happy. That's who she's always been. So I saw how that was affecting her. So when we came back down to California, it was a good move. And then pandemic hit. But when she started going to school here in person, she's really had like a really good, solid group of friends. They're diverse. They have good parents. They are all like-minded. They're not the kind of girls who at 15 are like seeking male attention and doing weird shit, right? And that's kind of what stopped me from pursuing leaving the state and leaving where we live and kind of sucking it up because honestly, the way that Rent has increased everywhere else too. It's just not appealing to me. It's not worth it to me. But I say that to say that, like, she's 15. She has a solid group of friends. And I have had the opportunity to have conversations with some of her friends' mothers because, my kids do sports and we have the time to talk. And I went to like happy hour with two of the moms when the girls were taking volleyball pictures. And we were talking because the conversations that our girls have with each other, sometimes we're just like, what the hell? Like, you guys talk to each other like that? That's crazy. They're a really, really tight group of friends. But one of the moms brought up a really interesting point, and everybody knows that, like, the way that men and women communicate is very different, right? Like, it maybe not 100%, but like for the most part, I think it's safe to say men and women communicate very differently. And men have a tendency to really not communicate a whole lot in adulthood or in adolescence, and they kind of shut down, and that's how you guys are conditioned, right? And girls, as catty and drama and all the shit that they go through at a young age, because they are having conversations, they are working it out, they are arguing their problem, you know what I mean? Like, they are having those kinds of like difficult conversations and interactions at a younger age, that they've worked out a lot of those kinks, and that's like where the disconnect comes in adulthood, where like women, right, us, we're like trying to communicate with our man or whoever our person is. Usually if it's a man, I think is pretty dominant still culture. But and we are able to communicate our feelings and try to open the lines of communication and problem solve and work shit out like that. But like men can't. And she's like, it's because girls kind of work out those kinks at a younger age and men don't. Like, y'all aren't conditioned to talk to each other. And you guys, like, when you guys have a conflict, you just get over it and move on, right? As to where women will drag that shit out, will hate each other for a little bit longer, talk all the shit, come back together, whatever, or don't come back together, right? And I thought that was a really, really interesting take and point, and it was something that I had never considered, like that perspective. And I'm really curious to hear if anybody has anything to say about that, or like what you think and how you see it. You think about that for a second, and then you guys can start dropping comments about what I just said in the chat. I'm gonna go through real quick, take this opportunity to say hello to the people who are in the chat. And if you're not in the chat and you're just watching, thank you for your support. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to Bitch Guess What. If you're watching from Side Friend Chronicles, please go and check out that channel as well, and support me there. Let's see, we got Keith in the house, always in the house. Keith is a real one, you guys. Everybody needs Keith in their life. Thank you, Keith, for your continued support. Hassam coming in from Dubai. We're international up in this piece. We miss you, Hassam. Thank you for tuning in all the way from Dubai. Eddie Ram, thank you for stopping by and showing some support and engaging in the comments. I really, really appreciate people who engage in the conversation. I don't know where you're tuning in from, but if I've asked you that and I didn't remember, I'm so sorry. Agnetha, an OG to the channel. Thank you for stopping by, Agnetha. We miss your presence. Win is in the house. Thank you, Win, for showing up and engaging in the chat. Larry Wesson, thank you so much for your continued support as well. I really appreciate you. And Smith Plus, glad to see you here as well. Thank you for showing up. I think that's everybody who's actually engaged in the chat, but not everybody who's watching. So that's fine with me. If you're not a chatter and you're just a listener, it is a podcast. Have a listen. But what I was talking about, if you just tuned in, was how one of the moms of my daughter's friends brought it to my attention that girls tend to work out the kinks of communication at a younger age than men, because we do. I don't know. It tripped me out, because I do know a lot of men who, there's a very, very small percentage of men that I know that are willing to actually have a conversation and like work shit out with you. Like, there's a lot of men that I know that are very anti that, and they're like, like just whatever you say, just stop talking and like, let's move forward. But like, I have been that person as well too. And I always get, accused of being a man or masculine and all this shit. And I know it's for things like that where I have in the past been very dismissive of, communicating with partners, etc. But it bites you in the ass later, like, I think that it really fosters like the perfect environment for resentment, right? Because if you're not communicating how you feel and what you need and all those things, you're not going to be happy, because people aren't mind readers, and we expect each other to be mind readers. We're like, well, if they love me, they should know. If they knew me or paid attention or were really like my person, they should know. And really, no, nobody knows if you don't tell them, right? Like, it's just impossible. Some people do vibe better than others, just naturally and off the bat like that, but not everybody, and that's not even always 100% either. So yeah, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. It was a perspective I had never even seen and or heard or had put that way to me, and it tripped me the fuck out, and it really made me think, and I'm like, the girls are going to be all right, and I don't want to move her from that. She's working out those kinks. She's got her besties or a solid group of people. So this conversation had many points. If you hadn't noticed, that's just the ADD, ADHD bullshit. I'm going to read some of these comments. Let's see here. Keith says, therapy helped me in that area. That's dope that you're willing to actually go, because I think a lot of people aren't even willing to like take that step, so kudos to you, Keith. Hassam says, nah, I'm homo like that and love talking shit out and letting all the emotions out. I'm a Libra after all. That's funny, Hassam. It doesn't make you a homo though. So talk your feelings out, bro. It's good for you. It's good for you. Like, people, if you're holding that shit in, like, that's not hurting the other person, it's hurting yourself, right? You're drinking the poison. Like, if you have the poison in you, then you're the one that gets hurt by that shit, not anybody else. So it's like you do yourself a huge disservice by like not honoring your feelings and speaking and like letting your people know and setting boundaries and teaching us how to, be a better friend, a better partner, whatever, by talking to each other and letting them know. And the right people will stick around and adjust and respect what you have to say, and the wrong people won't. And that's like what life does, right? Like, if you're authentic and you speak up and you do all those things, then the right people come in and the wrong people leave, and you're not at a loss. It's just what it is. Like, that's that's how it works. And the older I get, the more I'm realizing that, right? But there's that person in me, that single mom, and like that's always been like a control freak as well. So like I don't like when people leave me, and I might not be for them, and the logical person in me knows that and like understands that and is like that's a good thing, but then like the emotional person in me that's like got like the anxious attachment style is like, no, like stay, don't leave me, don't abandon me, all these things. It's pretty wild. I don't know, I've been doing like if you guys have been following me on here at all, I've been doing a lot of self work and reflection, and I have epiphanies about my own shit multiple times a day. And it's been a really, really wild year as far as my own personal development goes. But then the last month of my life has been crazy, and in the sense that I've learned so much more about myself, and it you don't learn those things if shit doesn't happen, right? And so I'm really grateful for the shit, no matter how painful it has been and how bad it hurts and how deep it cut, I'm still really grateful for it. So this is where I'm at, guys. This is the space. This is why I'm here. And I'm sharing these things because I thought that was really relevant. And if I can talk about it and maybe help y'all, that's really the goal here, right? Let's see. So Hassam shares his feelings. He's not the quiet guy. Love that. Larry says a lot of men are taught that if you show your feelings and communicate, it shows weakness. I think not just men, but women too. But at the same time, I think men are punished more for it, right? Like it's expected of women to be weak, right? But I think that we need to change that narrative, right? And there's a lot of power in vulnerability. Like it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable. It takes a lot of courage to allow yourself to feel shit. Like anybody could put up a wall, right? That's holding a wall isn't a sign of strength, right? Because to me, if you have to hold a wall up, then it's because you're capable of being destroyed. And like I think that's like what it is, right? Like for me, at least, and maybe I'm the only one who feels this way. If I'm not, cool. I know that that's not true. I know I'm not. But like you hold a wall to protect yourself. And what are you protecting yourself from? Being hurt. And if you're capable of completely relinquishing your power to somebody else to a point where they could like hurt you like that and destroy you, that like you got to really work on yourself. You got some shit to do. You got some things to address inside yourself. And I think that had been me for so long, and then over the course of the last year or 6 months or whatever, I've been very open to letting people in, and I tell myself that like it's okay to love people and to be open to that shit. And I always, like, for me over the last year, I've been a very like, let people do what they want to do so you can see what they'd rather do, right? And when you see what they'd rather do and it's not like be part of your world in some way, shape, or form, right? It is hurtful, but I'm still grateful that I know that I'm still capable of feeling things. Like I'm not a hard robot cold person. And so that's like, I've found a lot of power in that, you know? And I love it. I love that because I love that I'm capable of continuing to move forward in love and light, and that because that's what I want to attract. So that's who I have to be. And yeah. Right? I don't know how we got here, but we're here. And I don't know if y'all agree with that, but that's what I am, right? So that's, you got to be what you want to attract. And that's where I'm at. So I want to communicate. I want to be open to communication. I want to be open to letting love in, right? And being love and all these things. So, yeah, that's where we at. See, Hassam says, I feel so uncomfortable if I'm around someone while knowing that the waters are not clear. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Comfort, relief in knowing where you stand with people, you know? I don't like to not know where I stand with people. It does make me uncomfortable. However, and I am someone who, like, people, if you pay attention to people's behavior, like if you really pay attention, right, and don't ignore the things, because I think a lot of people romanticize people and situations, friendships, relationships, situationships, and all these things. We tend to romanticize shit a lot. And so we make the things that people do. I learned this whole like compass of clear communication thing. So I've noticed that when I speak, like I've totally shifted the way I talk about it. So when people do things, we tend to, if we're like in a state of where we're romanticizing them, right? We tend to make it mean something that it doesn't mean so that we could feel like the happy feeling about it. And then when it doesn't, when it turns out it's not that way, then you're so shocked and hurt and all those things. And we have to, like, if you really, really pay attention to people's behavior, and they're only giving you behavior, I think I totally agree with actions speak louder than words. But I think that what's even more clear and powerful is when actions are accompanied by words. And I think that when people really feel a certain way, they will do the actions and they will not be afraid to confirm it with words, right? I think when people are willing to do both and do both, like together, actions and words, then you know that it's real and you don't have, it takes the guessing work out of it for you. And I think what a lot of people do when they're in that like earlier stage of shit, they romanticize things, like they romanticize actions that haven't been accompanied by words. And so you tell yourself this whole other story about what's happening, but it's not really happening. You know what I mean? I think that happens. So I totally get it. I'm totally here with you, Hassam. I don't like muddy waters either. I like clear water. Be fucking real, state where you're at, be transparent, all is good. Let's see. Smith Plus said he used to be silent, assuming everyone understood. Yeah, and they don't, bro. We're not mind readers. None of us are mind readers, people. Hassam says, I believe more men than we thought are able to discuss their feelings, but society has conditioned us otherwise. To me, it's about building a certain level of connection with the person for them to open up. Yeah, no, totally. I think that men are discouraged from being vulnerable and talking and sharing their emotions. It's very feminine and it's very like, ooh, it's like a dirty word for men, right? To be feminine, to be pussies or whatever. And I mean, men, it's like, that's up to you guys to change that shit. Cause like, and there's a lot of women who subscribe to that toxic shit too, you know, where they'll be like, oh, nah, he's like too emotional. He talks too much about this. Like, oh, he's a pussy. Like, but this is where it's very much that those kind of people aren't for you. Like, you, be authentic, own that shit, talk your feelings, speak your mind, tell people where you're at, and you're going to attract people like that. Let the people who aren't with that shit go away. Go. Peace out, you know? That's where it's I'm a huge proponent of owning your shit. Like I was at lunch with someone yesterday, an old friend, and like when he knew me as a teenager, I had really gnarly like cystic acne, right? And then I had it really bad in my 20s. So my face is just covered in scars. Like I have scars all over my face. And I haven't done any kind of cosmetic procedures to reduce it, get rid of it, none of that shit. And this is how I'm going to transition to another topic that I want to talk about. I haven't done any of those things. The punchline here is owning your shit. I haven't done any of those things for a few reasons. It's expensive. I'm a mom, and I spent a lot of time working in the education and nonprofit sector and with, kids and like teens, right? Adolescents. And for me, I know that these kids today grow up in a world where they open their phone and the only people they see are perfectly airbrushed and filtered and all those things, right? Altered, botched in some way, shape, or form. And the message that they're receiving is that if you don't look like this, then you are not what we consider beautiful. Like the standard of beauty is that, the small, the people who get their faces done, they all have the same face, small little nose, same eyebrows, big ass eyelashes, full ass fucking lips, fillers in their cheeks, the same style of makeup. Everybody looks the same, right? That's the message they receive. So for me, it's always been really important to me, even though there are times where I say negative shit to myself and I look at myself and I'm like, I don't have the little small narrow nose. Like my nose is wider and like bigger, and I don't have the fake eyelashes, and I have scars all over my skin, and my lips aren't like plump and full, right? So because I don't have this, and this, and this, that means I'm not beautiful, right? That's the message they're getting. That's how they feel, whatever. But because that's what they see and I worked with them, it was really important for me to keep the scars, not plump the lips, not get the eyelashes done, right? Like not get the things filled, not get the nose done. Because despite those things, I'm actually pretty cute, like I'm pretty gorgeous. So I will say that. Owning that. But I want them to see that like you could add to 9 with more than just 5 and 4, right? Like 7 and 2 works, 6 and 3 works, 8 and 1 works, right? There's not one way to be beautiful, and just one certain face style is not the most beautiful thing in the world. Like we all, like I love people who look different, and I think people are more than just their physical appearance, right? Like it's important to be a good person and all the other things that come with it, but beautiful should not be like a one way. It shouldn't look one way. And so it was important to me to work in these schools and just flip my hair, keep my head up, chin up, darling. With these scars, your girl is still bad as fuck. You know what I mean? Like that was my mentality. And so I told him, I think I said something to him too. I'm like, yeah, like, I do hate my scars because it is the only thing I see when I look in the mirror. But I also have the mentality that at the same time that nobody rocks this shit like your girl, right? Like if anybody was going to rock this shit, it's me and I do it well. Kind of a mentality, right? I own that shit. I totally own that shit. And I do walk with my fucking chin up. It is something that I have been complimented by men for the confidence, right? Like, chin up. I'm gorgeous to somebody. You know, if it's not you, keep it fucking stepping, homie. Like, keep going. Keep it moving. You're not my man. Bye. You know? So the whole point of that was owning your shit, right? If you have feelings and you want to talk about it, own that shit. If you whatever, own your shit. People, if you say things with confidence and conviction, like people are attracted to that, you know, like people are attracted to confidence and all of that. If you say things like people believe you if you believe it. And that's where I was going with that. Next topic, I kind of want to, that's the transition though, is so what we see on whatever filters, all these things, right? I have received a few messages recently that really fucking bothered me. It's kind of frustrating to me because I'm not someone who just exists on the internet. Now, I know that like where we are in 2022, a lot of our interactions with people are via the internet, right? I work from home. So my interactions with my coworkers and whoever is via the internet, Zoom, right? I'm a really busy mom and my kids they kind of like my life revolves around them and getting them to their life, right? So most of my social interactions and my interactions with family who live in other states, etc., are via the internet, right? Online, social media apps, FaceTime, whatever. Despite all that, I do still leave my house and go out in the real world, right? And in the real world, you don't get filters. Like you walk around with what you got, right? And so I've had a couple of men. It's always a fucking man. I swear to Christ. Love you guys, but you guys are trash sometimes. When I go on my Instagram, right, and I post a picture or a video of myself, and I use a filter, I don't use it because I think I'm ugly and need it or whatever. Filters are fun. For me, you know, like there's certain ones that put tattoos on your face. That's funny. I don't have to go and actually get my face tattooed. I could just use a filter. I could do it for a second. It's fun. There's filters that change your hair color. That's fun. I like to do that to see myself in pink hair because I would never dye my whole head pink right now. Not because I'm afraid of what people would think or whatever, but it's because I care about the damage. Like I want my hair to be healthy and feel good and not like a fucking straw or, you know, like a broom or whatever. Filters are fun because some of them do your makeup for you, right? If I'm sitting here looking like I just rolled out of motherfucking bed and I'm tired and shit, but this filter wants to give me eyelashes or mascara, like I'm going to use the one with eyelashes and mascara so I don't look like a fucking zombie. Not that I think I'm ugly or that people don't know what real is. People who see me in real life know what the real is, right? I've had dudes literally come at me recently about my use of filters. Like, why do you guys need filters to look pretty? First of all, motherfucker, I'm pretty in real life. Okay. So, and there are people who know me in real life that like, so that's the other piece that like bothers me. I'm like, they're like, well, why do you girls use it if whatever? It's like, because we fucking want to. Like, do you feel better today now that you have taken time and energy out of your day to go out of your way to message me that you think that I use a filter because I don't think I'm beautiful or something? Like, I actually go to the fucking grocery store all the time without makeup. Like, that's not a concern of mine. Like, hella people see me fucking tore up, right? That's not what it is. And if I want to use a fucking filter on my face, on internet, whatever, I want to use a fucking filter on my face, and that's none of your goddamn business. And you don't need to like take time out of your day to let me know how you feel about it, because I didn't ask. I didn't ask. I didn't ask what you thought about that filter I used on my face. Like, I didn't ask. I don't fucking care. Guys, this is real life. This happens. People are so fucking bold. They will give you their opinion when you don't ask. They just handing that shit out for free, right? I want to make it very clear that if I use a fucking filter, it's because I want to use a fucking filter. I don't think I'm ugly because I use a fucking filter. I don't. People who know me in real life, they know my skin isn't this airbrushed, smooth fucking skin that you see on my Instagram stories because I'm wearing a fucking filter. And when people have commented on shit like that, I am very transparent. Like, I'm like, yo, like, if they're like, oh my God, I wish I had your skin. I'm like, this ain't real, honey. Like, you don't wish you had my skin. Let me show you my real skin and then we can talk, like, and it blows me away that like people who know me in real life just had the audacity to say some shit like that to me. To go so far as like, it looks bad when you do that, when you wear a filter. No, it doesn't. It looks good. It looks good with it and it looks good without it. Period. Because I look good. Okay? Leave me the fuck alone. Fuck out of my DMs. You know what I'm saying? Guys, we got to do better. This is crazy. I'm going to let that marinate with you while I go ahead in here and read some comments. But like I said, nobody, like, I own my shit. Now, I don't think I'm the fucking belle of the ball, most beautiful fucking bitch in the world. Like, that's not who I am either, right? I don't think I'm a dog, but I'm not up here, but I'm like right here. Like, here's the scale, here's top bitch, whoever she is. It's a different person for everybody, right? Beauty is subjective. It's in the eye of the beholder. Some people can be really fucking pretty on the outside and they're dumb as fucking rocks and a complete bitch, and it totally takes it away from you, sis. Like, that's what that is. And I think people who are deemed uglier to society have a lot more fucking character, tend to be funnier, have their shit together, or better people. Like, guys, we got to stop this like one size fits all box of like what beauty is. Like, it's just not facts. Like, that's just not the way it is. And everybody's different. Like, there are men out there who do think I'm ugly. And to them, they're right. I am ugly. And then there's men in this world who think I'm fucking gorgeous. Like, they think I'm up here. And to them, I am that, right? And then there's people who think I'm right here in the middle, like this good chunk in the middle. And to them, they are right. That's how they see it. Like, not everybody likes cilantro, right? Not everybody likes, like, what's for one person might not be for another, right? Like, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I don't fucking want to be. You know, like, I don't want to be everybody's cup of tea. Like, that's just not a goal of mine. It's, it's not fun. It's not special that way. That's how I feel. I'm going to read some comments. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you guys for engaging, staying in the conversation. I really appreciate you. Let's see here. Where did I leave off in the comments? Oh, to Hassam's, right? Keith says he's always been more comfortable talking to women. Oh, yeah, we changed the subject here. Sometimes being picky can be an issue, but you just want to make sure we choose our partners wisely. 1000% facts. And be choosy. Don't just settle. Come on now. William Lewis says, beautiful Stella's Queen of Solo podcast. Thank you. One day I strive. Keith says, growing up, nobody in my family talked about feelings. I never felt comfortable talking to anyone. That is a very, I think it's getting better. But yeah, back in those days, I'm not trying to call you old, Keith. Don't take it that way. That's not what I'm doing. But yeah, talking wasn't like a thing, especially in certain, not just like a age thing, but in cultures, right? Like my Mexican family, especially the men, they don't talk. That's not a thing. Don't do that. Sam says, same here, but I always ruin it by starting with this. So tell me, what are you wearing? Come on, Hassam, don't be that guy. Dude, you have no idea how much I despise the guys who that's all they have to say. What are you wearing? Like, come on, get the fuck out of here. You're better than this, Hassam. Smith says, used to believe in people's perceptions could be controlled, no longer ever experienced gaslighting. Totally have experienced gaslighting. Unraveling a gaslighting incident will give you a workout. Fuck yeah, it will. Let's see. Erica, hi mamas. Happy to see you here. You're absolutely beautiful, and beauty comes in all different shapes and sizes. 1000%. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Larry says, damn, Stella, you're a female version of myself, and I am kick-ass and know it. I do kick-ass, and I know that. Let's see. Eddie Ram says, incredible that the some girls in my class who were stereotyped as having acne, messy hair, no makeup, actually turned out to be very successful, pretty, and very happy with their lives. Holla at your girl. That's what I'm talking about. It's crazy because, like I said, nerd, acne. I didn't have boobs until I was like 30 something. Like, really, I mean, let's keep it 1000. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't peak in high school, junior high. I knew girls who did. It definitely wasn't me. I was not the girl that like boys wanted to fuck with in junior high and high school. Not till I was like later high school, like 10th grade, 11th grade kind of deal. And then now these motherfuckers see me on the internet, on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and they're all trying to be like, I've always had a crush on you. Fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You did not. Get the fuck out of here. So that's funny. So sorry it bothered you, but people are sad like that, especially when they're hiding behind a screen a lot. 1000%. Erica says, perhaps they are just jelly. They probably want to use a filter and they feel like they can't get away with it. Yeah, especially dudes, like, come on. He says they think that their fucking opinion is so important that people give a fuck what they think. They should keep that dumb shit to themselves. 1000%. Eddie says he's ugly and proud. I doubt you're ugly, Eddie, but I'm glad you're proud. Hassam says he'd hit it. Shut the fuck up, Hassam. That's funny. Larry says I meant to add an LOL to my. Oh yeah, it's okay. Somebody says hi, mistress. Much mistress, but let's see. I don't know, but Idris Elba ain't got shit on me. Idris Elba has got shit on everybody. That man is fine as fuck. Agnetha Ledef says, Stella, you're so beautiful with a sweet voice. How are you holding up under the summer heat? I live in a coastal town in San Diego County. California, so the heat hasn't been too rough on me. I am very blessed. Yeah. And I hardly wear any clothes when I'm at home, so I'm somewhat of a nudist myself. If I didn't have children, I would probably just be walking around my house naked all the time. I would sleep naked more often. I love being naked when I'm home. That is a thing. Like when I lived in Oregon and I had my own apartment, if my kids weren't home, I was naked. That's how I like to live. That's what I do. I have a question though on that topic. This might be just me. And that's fine. I'll own it. You guys know that. I'm all about owning it. That's what I should have named this episode. Owning it. I could probably still change it actually. Being naked. I think I look good naked. If you guys haven't noticed, I don't lack confidence. But being naked does make me, maybe this is why, like, I'm like a 17-year-old boy in this area. Like, I always want to have sex. Like that shit's on my mind all the time. I'm like a teenage boy. But I'm starting to like process this while I'm having this conversation. That might have something to do with the fact that like when I am alone and home, like I am naked. I'm not just like out here pleasuring myself or anything like that. I am a human being, and there are times when I do those things, sure. But I'm thinking like maybe the act of me walking around naked all the time puts me in that mood. I don't know. That's wild. I have to like process that. I'm going to sit on that one for a little bit and then come back to you guys if I remember to in, a week or two and talk about it. Keith, I believe that. I think you paint naked. That's what I think. Unless you're making an Instagram reel. That's what I think you're doing. Yeah. Well, I probably could bring up other shit and talk about. I told people on Instagram live that I was going to talk about vulvas. And for those of you who don't know what a vulva is, that is the female genitalia. Everybody just calls it a vagina, but the vagina is actually just the hole, the sex hole, the whole thing is called a vulva. I was going to talk about those today. But I think we're going to have to save that discussion for another time. Maybe on Bitch Guess What? I'll talk about it with Sonia and Lucho because they can contribute something to that conversation. Yeah, I think we're going to leave it here. I'm going to leave it here with communication between men and women, two different things, two different worlds, owning your shit, filters, etc., feelings, blah, 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 blah. You guys were here. You heard it. Thank you for those of you who tuned in. If you haven't liked the video yet, like it. If you haven't subscribed to Bitch Guess What yet, what are you waiting for? Support your girl. Pour favor. Thank you so much. It's Bitch Guess What? It is here on YouTube. It's on Apple. It's on Spotify. Side Friend Chronicles still here. Like I said, I'm not really sure what the future of that channel is. But you guys can continue to support that as well. Yeah, I don't know. That's it. That's all I had to say. I had to say some things. I got it off my chest. I'm a little bit lighter now, so I can go and move in the world, I guess. You guys have a great evening. I know some of you guys it's late, some of you guys it's my time, nice and early. And I will holler at you soon-ish. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good one. Bye.
You are now tuning in live to Bitch Guess What? Bitch Guess What? Bitch Guess What?